WBF belt. He's very proud of that belt. It's not very highly rated or recognized in the world, but nevertheless, he gets himself a title fight. He gets a nice belt. So, but a rather disappointing ending for me when Deepa turned his back.
Right, we move on to the second title fight of the evening, the IBO International Super Middleweight title, Peter Mashamaite Marc Bargero.
Nick can't hear himself. Can you get something to help him out?
Expect to be blown away this August with DSTV when we bring you the pride of three nations as they face the storm in the Vodacom Tri-Nations.
He's done it again!
The rage continues in the Premier Division of the ABSA Currie Cup. South Africa and India face a whirlwind tour as they take on the host, Sri Lanka. Gravity-defying feats are expected once again in the IAAF arenas. The big names are ready to drive their way into the history books as they meet for the last major of the year at the Medina Country Club. A blustery reception awaits the top English teams as the new season in the Premier League kicks off. Expect some thunderous performances as the last Grand Slam hits your screen on ESPN. Sweeping you off your feet this August, DSTV.
Apartheid's most notorious prison, football provided a joyful release for the leaders of the struggle, many of whom are now in government. FIFA's action triggered a succession of international sporting boycotts. Thanks to football and thanks to FIFA, South Africa was finding its way back into the global family.
Powerful run by the Hawks opened up the Swallows' defense once more.
Certainly, that's why it wasn't surprising enough.
In midfield is Captain Andy Jesus Karazinski.
Unlike the weather, they will never change their attitude. These are serious athletes. They love what they do, but they will never love each other. And for the love of the game, they will never stop entertaining you. Spend every Wednesdays with our best of WWE Afterburn and Fridays with Bottom Line on your Channel of Champions, Supersport.
Welcome back to Emperor's Palace as we continue the Emperor's Quest, building up to Cassius Beloy's main event later on this evening. Time now for an IBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight title fight. Peter Mashamaite against Australian Marc Bargero, who's been here to South Africa before. So we look at some of the audience on hand. That's Chris Naidu, of course, seated inside the sort of VIP seating here. They're not so lucky, Ron. They sit a few rows further back.
You know, it's a very nice venue, Nick. I must say, it looks like the place is full, or it's filling up, because a lot of people must be gambling, waiting for the main event. But they reckon this holds 3,000. So a very good venue for boxing, as I've mentioned before. And it's nice to see people coming to boxing, because sometimes, recently, we've seen a few fights, a couple of hundred people in the arena, Nick, and that's not good for boxing. Tonight, the people have come to support the boxing, and I think that's tremendous. That's our press row. Some of the people around the ring here are just waiting for the next fight. This is for the IBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight title. Peter Mashamaite coming off that win. He won the vacant South African Super Middleweight title in his last fight. He's fighting for, well, it's not a prestigious title, but it's nice to fight for the belt. Look at that nice belt. It's a stepping stone to a possible IBO title fight, the genuine IBO title.
Right, we're ready to start the second fight. Let's rejoin Pumlani and Sibi.
Welcome back to Emperor's Palace, the new home of boxing in South Africa. Our next bout is for the IBO Intercontinental title in the super middleweight division. Let's welcome first into the ring, Marc Bargero.
Here comes Marc Bargero. Not the first time he's come into a South African ring, and he'll be hoping for better luck this time because he was stopped by David Starry.
He didn't last very long the first time, Nick. He never got beyond the first round.
Starry was a fair fighter, though. Was a former Commonwealth champion, wasn't he?
It was the British Commonwealth. They fought for the British Commonwealth title that night.
And that was at Carnival City.
That's right.
A couple of years back. So Bargero, as I say, will be hoping for better luck at Emperor's Palace.
Very experienced fighter, Nick, but he's really fought nobody of consequence. You know, you look at his record, a lot of the fighters he's fought are unknowns, but he's been here a long, long time.
An Australian fighter, as is Gary Sinclair these days, who challenges Cassius Beloy.
And fighting against him, let's bring into the ring now, Peter Mashamaite.
South African super middleweight champion Peter Mashamaite, I think now, Ron, in his fighting prime. He's taken a while for the career to get going, but I think he's got some good fights ahead of him.
He's a youngster. He's only 24 years old. He's come off that win when he won that vacant SA super middleweight title. He beat Patrick Similani in May of this year. He stopped him in 3. So a little bit of a role at the moment is Peter Mashamaite. And he'll be fighting out of that blue corner will be Mashamaite, and Marc Bargero from Australia, he'll be fighting out of the red corner.
This IBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight bout is scheduled for 12 rounds. Let's introduce first your officials. The referee is Isaac Chabalala from South Africa. 3 judges at ringside, Howard Foster from the UK, Garth Murray and Lula Mamcha from South Africa. Fight supervisor for the International Boxing Organization, Hilton Whitaker III. Now let's introduce first. He fights out of the red corner. He wears the silver and black trunks. He weighed in at 75.72 kilograms, 55 professional fights, 39 wins, 12 losses, only 4 draws. From Australia, here is Marc Bargero. And fighting out of the blue corner, he wears the white, orange, and blue trunks. He weighed in at 74.92 kilograms. His professional record, 23 fights, 19 wins, only 3 losses, and a single draw. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the Limpopo province, here is the lover boy, Peter Mashamaite.
Boxers. Boxers. As I told in the dressing room, I want a clean fight. Once I break, once I stop. Okay. Good luck, both of you. Shake hands.
Well, we're going to get this fight on. It's scheduled for 12 rounds. It's for the IBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight title, and that's South Africa's Peter Mashamaite. He's in those white trunks with the orange trim. And Marc Bargero from Australia, he's in the silver trunks.
Last fight for Mashamaite, of course, was a good fight when he beat Patrick Similani to win the South African title, the vacant South African title. But I think the fight he's most remembered for, Ron, was the losing effort to Mpush Makambi for the middleweight title. He put on a good show that night, but there were a couple of flaws in his makeup. He wasn't punching his weight, things like that, that I think he's probably started to iron out a bit now.
Well, Nick, you know, that was early in his career too, and you know, he fought a very, very experienced fighter in Mpush Makambi. And you notice it's a battle of the southpaws here. Both fighters fighting from that southpaw stance.
Well, that was a slip, I think.
That was a slip, yes. Wow.
Embarrassing for Mashamaite, who covers up now as Bergamo wades in.
Well, it's all, he's just holding on now. I don't know if he was he caught with a punch? He might have got caught with a punch. Nick. I'd like to see that again when he went down, because he seems a bit shaken, does Mashamaite. Maybe his confidence is shaken. I don't know if he was caught with a punch, but he was a little bit wonky when he got up.
Well, if he was caught, it was a very grazing punch. The referee didn't spot it. It didn't look like a punch to me, I must be honest.
But when
right
he got
on
up, he didn't seem all that confident, Nick. Maybe it's just that he got a bit of a shock going down like that.
Mashamaite has had some international fights. 2 fights ago, he was involved in a challenge for an, I forget which belt it was. It was an international belt.
It was an international bout against Dennis Inken in Hungary, Nick. It was one of these intercontinental titles. Dennis Inken's an unbeaten fighter, so no disgrace. He lost narrowly to Inken on points.
The punch behind the head of Bergamo, and the referee just telling him to cut that out. I don't think it was intentional. It was just the position Bergamo found himself in. So Mashamaite going down early, but ruled a slip.
Well, not a very good start for the South African, Nick. You know, Bargero started off very well, but he's got all that experience behind him, Nick. He's had a lot of fights, more than 50 fights. A very experienced campaigner, 37 years old. He's been at the game a long time. He knows his way down the ring. He hasn't fought top-class opponents, but he's got all that experience. Mashamaite, the South African challenging they're fighting for the vacant IBO Intercontinental title, and he's in those white trunks, and Marc Bargero in those silver trunks, and both fighting from that southpaw stance.
Well, again, Bergamo getting off first there. Mashamaite seems to be looking for position, but he's not punching, and he's allowing Bergamo to get off first.
Bargero's in the corner there now, and he's just been pushed back by Mashamaite, but he's not getting the best of it. And the experience there of Bargero just holding on as he finishes that round, and he took that round on my card.
It's quite clever at the end of the round there, how he's just tying up the arms of Mashamaite. Mashamaite not able to punch. I would agree, Bargero taking the round.
Now I want to bend the knees a bit and jab it. Okay? But we need to follow with the left hand. Stay there, stay there. Stay up, stay up.
Into the second we go. Bargero up very quickly off the stool. Mashamaite trying to get that jab to work, that right jab of his.
Bring it up inside, bodying up. You're going to hurt him with that liver.
Bargero's corner just being told to put a lid on it. A little vocal.
Pushing him off the apron, the ring apron. They're not allowed to be on the ring apron, Nick. That's against the rules. And well, he seems to have got his confidence back now as Mashamaite. that knockdown, or we didn't see the replay there, but I don't know if it was a push or a knockdown, but he seemed he seemed to lose his confidence when he got up from that, when he went down in that first round. But he seems to have got his confidence back now. But he's up against a difficult customer in Bargero. Bargero from Australia, he's in those silver trunks.
He's got a very loose style, really, as Bargero. He carries those hands pretty low and throws punches from unusual angles at times.
Well, that's what you call a journeyman, Nick. He's a survivor. He knows his way around the ring. He wants to survive.
He used the jab in his eyes, Mark. Mark, he used the jab in his eyes all night, and then that left's going to hit him over the jab. Left in his eyes. In his eyes with that left. That's right. That's it. In his eyes. Left hook. Left hook.
Wow. A good one coming. A good little right hand there from the South African.
I'm watching with interest to see whether Mashamaite has picked up a little bit of power by punching correctly. What I mean by that is he has tended to be a bit of an arm puncher in the past, as he took a good right hand there from Bargero.
Well, it's toe-to-toe now in the middle of the ring, and it's Mashamaite just coming in. Or Mashamaite, right and left from Mashamaite.
Do you see him punching with a bit more power?
I think so, Nick. That little flurry there, you could see he had more power and strength in his punches. And he's looking much better here in round 2.
Jab hard to his eyes. Jab to the eyes.
37 years old, Marc Bargero, against the 24-year-old Peter Mashamaite from South Africa. They're fighting out for the IBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight title. That limit of 76-2-0. That's the super middleweight limit.
Yeah, it's quite an age gap between the two fighters. 37 against the 24-year-old.
And then the left over, mate. The guy Waters. Jab his body again.
I see Bargero waiting at 75-7-2 and Mashamaite at 74-9-2. So we get to the end here of round 2. And a better round for Mashamaite. Posse did enough to shade it.
Yeah, Bargero getting away with holding and hitting there inside at the bell. So all the fight action you watch this evening coming from Empress Palace on the East Rand, located very close to the airport too. Into the third we go. Neither fighter really has stamped his authority on this one just yet. Bargero quite dangerous with that swinging. It's almost an overhand left that he throws at times that Mashamaite hasn't totally picked up just yet.
Well, he's going to be careful, Nick, you know, because, as I say, the experience of... here comes that overhand left again from Bargero. He's got the experience, and it's the experience against the inexperience of Mashamaite. Bargero in those silver trunks and Mashamaite in the white trunks.
Mashamaite needs to get that jab working. It's fallen away completely at the start of this third round.
Well, he's going to know he's in a fight, Nick. I think we didn't expect so much from Bargero. We just thought he was an opponent when he came out here. Looking at his age, looking at his record. But he's making a fight of it, is Bargero.
And also looking at his performance against David Story at Carnival City a couple of years back, where he didn't last the round.
Well, he's had 3 fights in 2005. It was his first fight in 2006. So you'd think it'd be a little bit of a ring rust, but he's looking okay.
Straight, hard right hand.
Again, there's no jab coming from Mashamaite.
Well, this is where he's making a mistake, Nick. He's got to set up his opponent with a jab, and he's not letting the jab go, as you quite correctly say. He's just standing there, letting Bargero take the fight to him.
Breathe deep, Mark, breathe deep. Hard to the body, yes, son.
Also think if he's throwing a decent jab, Ron, he's probably fighting a little more side on from behind the shoulder. At the moment, he's very front on.
Well, this is why he's getting caught. You see, Bargero's doing all the leading. He jabs first, he gets in first. And referee Shabalala warning Bargero for hitting and holding.
Well, it's a scheduled 12-rounder, so there's still time for Mashamaite to obviously look good in this fight and win it comfortably. But at the moment, it's been a bit of a disappointing performance from him through the first 3 rounds.
He's got to pick it up, Nick. He just can't work out the experience in front of him. And you can just see all little tricks coming from Bargero there. Holding as he comes in, moving the shoulders in. He's got all those tricks. He's learnt them over the years.
Mark, the uppercut's on inside, now hit the body hard, you heard?
He's been a pro since 1994, so 12 years in the professional ring. He knows all the tricks as Bargero from Australia.
And as you pointed out, 55 fights. That's a lot of fights. Heads coming very close together there. In fact, a clash of heads. Mashamaite getting the better inside there. A couple of short punches, just jarring the head back of Bargero. Oh, there's a better jab from Mashamaite.
When he uses the jab, he looks so good, does Mashamaite, but he's got to use that jab. Well, a good finish to the round there, plenty of action.
After the bell as well. Nick Durant didn't like it, he came halfway across the ring. Well, he's one of the stars of the show, as we know, old Nick Durant.
He likes it.
Almost got in on the action.
Into round 4, the scheduled 12-rounder for the IBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight title. Both fighters slow getting off their stool. I don't know what is wrong with them there. We're into this 4th round, and bit of an uphill struggle here for Peter Mashamaite tonight, Nick.
Yeah, and I think he's making it a struggle by not using that jab as well as he could. He's got a good jab when he throws it. It's a pretty solid jab, but he's been a bit reluctant to throw it for whatever reason.
But you know, just look at the expression on the face of Mashamaite. There's no confidence, Nick, and that just worries me. And that jab is tentative. He's not snapping the jab out.
Landed a useful left hand there, did Mashamaite.
And he got caught with a little right hand himself as he left himself wide open.
Well, as they were breaking, there was a left thrown by Mashamaite, and Bargero's corner up in arms about that. They didn't like that.
Well, the only thing that Mashamaite's got to hope for that Bargero runs out of steam, Nick. He seems to be puffing a little bit, puffing in the 4th round.
Yeah, I can see that happening, Ron. Bargero is using more energy to fight this fight at the moment. And I can see him running out of gas. A couple more rounds.
Right, Mark, right your left to the liver. Hit the liver hard, Mark. Mark, work on the liver.
It's an untidy fight at the moment.
Yeah, it's slowed down considerably here in the 4th round, Nick, and Mashamaite just not getting that jab off. I think a corner, a good left hand there, that Mashamaite. He's wide open, Nick. He's caught those wild swings from Bargero. And a good combination there from the South African.
There's a little wince on the face of Bargero there. He felt those punches to the body.
Little uppercut coming in there. 2 little uppercuts there from Mashamaite. That's what he wants. Just get the uppercut going.
And Bargero backed off from it too, quite noticeably. He's starting to feel the pace of the fight now, Ron.
Well, you can see talking about expressions on the faces. Look at the expression on a little left there coming in from Mashamaite. And that's...
Oh! And a right coming in for Bargero. Caught Mashamaite clean. Now, fitness and conditioning will get him back on his feet. How much has the confidence gone, though?
Bargero, breathe!
Well, we've only got 25 seconds left in the round. Can he survive, Mashamaite? But Nick, that was inevitable. It was going to happen. He was leaving himself wide open. And, you know, he's not fighting a puncher. And he's got caught. He's hurt. He's Bargero.
Here's Mashamaite.
Mashamaite's hurt. And Bargero, they don't call him a puncher, but he hurt Mashamaite there.
He's very well conditioned, Mashamaite. Fights back. He's still got something left, that's for sure.
Well, he survived.
I'll tell you what, Bargero is exhausted at the bell. He's going to punch himself out. But Mashamaite in big problems there in the round, going down hard. Only conditioning got him back on his feet.
There's that big right hand that puts Mashamaite down. A big right hand from the south, the southpaw right hand of Bargero. And that, oh, there it comes. That's southpaw right hand that caught Mashamaite. He did well to get up, Nick, but he was down. And he's lost that round 10-8.
Caught right on the point of the chin too. Terrific punch. Right, can the Australian capitalise now? Bargero, I thought he was starting to feel the pace of the fight. He got in a great right hand. Mashamaite went down, but he's had a minute to recover now, and he's trying to get a bit of bounce back into those legs as well, right?
Nick, you know, you're so right. He looked so slow, and he was slowing down the fight, and he was puffing. And then he just pulled. But you see Mashamaite, when he throws that left hand of his, he leaves himself wide open, and it had to happen. He tends to drop his hand, and he got caught with a sucker punch there.
It's a good left hand there from Mashamaite, which caused Bargero to back off.
Mashamaite fighting in those white trunks, and Marc Bargero from Australia in those silver trunks. And both fighting from that southpaw stance.
Almost a clash of heads again. It's just the style of the two southpaws. Their heads come very close together at times.
There it comes again. You see that? There comes that left hand. Swinging left hand there from Bargero. Mashamaite drops his own right hand.
But Bargero also leaves himself open, though, to Mashamaite's counters when he swings like that. It's a real free-for-all at the moment.
Much so.
Well, I think the crowd are enjoying this one too.
Well, it's been a good fight, Nick. Plenty of action, but is it survival of the fittest? Has Mashamaite, the youngster, 24 years old, got the stamina to outlast the experienced old pro, 37, Marc Bargero?
Yeah, I'd hate to call it at this stage. I think Mashamaite's come back well from the knockdown. Seems to have got his legs underneath him again. And Bargero's corner asking him to stay tight. They've seen what we've seen ringside, that he does leave himself open with these big round arm swings of his.
Well, that's a sign of tiredness, Nick. He's beginning to tire, and I think he's just trying to pull out the big one, is Bargero. He's a tired man, is Bargero. He hasn't fought. He had his last fight back in 2005. That was December 2005. So he hasn't fought for 7 months. And he's just catching up with him now. A good right jab there from Mashamaite. He's got to send more of those.
And again, why don't we see more of it? It's such a good punch. It sets up his left hand too when he does it. If I was Nick Durant, I'd really be emphasising that jab between rounds. He's got to box from behind the jab.
Well, when he throws the jab, Nick, he looks so good, and he's scoring with that jab.
It also makes him a more compact fighter.
Very much so.
Let's go.
Oh, we're getting to the last 10 seconds here.
Terrific jab again from Mashamaite.
Well, he's possibly done enough to steal the round, Nick.
And a left goes in, left hook.
Good finish here by Mashamaite. He's done enough to take the round.
Again, Bargero looks awful coming back to the corner. He's blowing away like a whale.
Slow your breathing down. Slow it down and focus. Slow it down. Listen.
Up next, the South African featherweight title. This is the challenger, Mbalasi from East London, who had a win against the former South African champion Condile in 2006, but prior to that had been rather inactive. And he's in against a good one in Malcolm Klassen, the new South African featherweight champion. Well, he looks confident, Ron.
Well, very much so. You know, speaking to the chaps down in East London, they were very, very confident. And there's the champion, Malcolm Klassen, with Manny Fernandez defending his title here tonight for the third time. Malcolm Klassen defending that South African featherweight title for the third time.
And then still to come, we have a junior heavyweight contest. Earl Marias against Johnny Fenter. That's an interesting one before we get into the main event. Cassius Beloy against Gary Sinclair.
Well, we're going to round 6 now of the scheduled 12 rounder for the IBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight title. That's Marc Bargero in the silver trunks. He's fighting out that red corner from Australia. And South Africa's Peter Mashamaite. They're fighting up for that vacant title. Hey, that's mine.
In and out, in and out. Work that double jab.
Well, as I said, the last round at times resembled a bit of a barroom brawl. Both fighters guilty of making mistakes, especially Bargero. I thought Mashamaite's jab was starting to work a bit better, and perhaps we're going to see more of it now.
Well, he looked so much better in that. He threw 2-3 jabs in a row there, and he was catching Bargero.
If Mashamaite just goes back to the basics as he is at the moment, he looks so much better for it, and he's getting the better of Bargero.
Well, I get the impression that Bargero is tiring, Nick. He definitely has slowed down here in round number 6. Mashamaite's just got to pace himself, just keep the jab going.
Well, let's remember he's fighting at altitude. Not much altitude to speak of in Australia. And, well, they've been here for a while, but possibly he will feel the effects of fighting at 6,000 feet.
Well, as I say, looking at the expressions in their faces again, Mashamaite looking much more confident here in round 6. And that's Mashamaite in those white trunks.
It's been quite a grueling fight for both fighters. Mashamaite going down in the 4th round. Also went down in the 1st, but it was ruled a slip.
Well, that's a sign of tiredness there from Bargero, Nick. He's starting to push. He hasn't got as much steam and as much snap in his punch as he had in the earlier rounds. The fight has slowed down, the pace has slowed down now. There comes that jab, a good jab there from Mashamaite, the South African. They're fighting out for the vacant title, the vacant IBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight title. And there Mashamaite left himself open again for that swinging left hand from the southpaw of Bargero.
I think that may have been a right hand that time, Ron.
Was it a right hand, was it?
Well, he swings with both hands.
He's never going to pick it up. I thought it was his left hand there. But nevertheless, it caught Mashamaite, whichever one it was.
Yeah, and it's worrying for Mashamaite the way he does leave himself open for those round arm swings.
Well, he drops his left hand, Nick, and he's just waiting for it. He's asking for it. See, there it comes again. That's the right hand. That's the right hand. You're possibly right, Nick. It's the right hand, the southpaw right hand he's getting caught with.
You're round again, Mark. You're round again, Mark. It's your round again, Mark. Good boy. Stop.
Well, I'll tell you what, in the battle of the cornermen, Nick Durant is coming across very quiet tonight by comparison with the Australian crowd in Bargero's corner.
Well, he was trying to steal my water here between rounds, Nick. We nearly had a fight here in between rounds with their cornermen.
Yes, I saw you put him right very quickly, Ron.
Come out again. Don't stand in there mix with him. It's a puncher this one. It's coming. Yeah, it's coming. I want the shoulder. Okay. Get in 3-4 punches, come out. Okay?
We're into round 7 of the scheduled 12 rounder for the vacant IBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight title. South Africa's Peter Mashamaite fighting in those white trunks, and Marc Bargero from Australia, the old man at 37, he's in those silver trunks.
That's it. Move around. Move the angles. Move the angles.
Last round was a little difficult to score. I gave Mashamaite the 5th coming off the knockdown. I thought he recovered well and he boxed from behind the jab. The last round, though, Bargero got through a couple of heavy shots to the head. Mashamaite may have thrown the cleaner punches, but
That's it. Keep moving.
Depends on what you really look for as a ringside judge.
Keep moving, son. That's it, son. Keep moving.
Mashamaite up on his toes.
Hit the body. Hit the body.
Just keep the jab going, because there's no doubt that Bargero is definitely tired, Nick. He's just relying on those swinging left hands of his.
And I think there's no doubt that Mashamaite has the edge in fitness and conditioning too. You saw that in the fourth. That's all that made him beat the count, I think.
There comes a clubbing left hand again from the southpaw Bargero. Both fighters fighting from southpaw stance here.
Force him back with the jab. Force the jab with body. He's waiting for you, Mark. Force the jab.
Mashamaite looking to box from range at the moment, trying to set up that right jab of his.
Well, it's understandable, you know, the pace has slowed down, but from the first bell, both fighters throwing a lot of punches.
Left hand to deliver, Mark.
Really gasping for air now is Marc Bargero.
I think Mashamaite's missed a trick by focusing on the head a little too much, because a couple of times I've seen good body punches landed. Bargero winced visibly a couple of rounds back when he was caught to the body.
Well, Nick, you're right, because he hasn't thrown many body punches, is Mashamaite. He's trying to fight from the outside, but he's got to get in and dig underneath.
Jab from Mashamaite, and they fall inside. Again, the heads get very close together. I'm amazed that a cut hasn't been opened, the way these heads have been coming together inside.
And we're getting into the last minute here of round number 7.
Let's go. 1, 2.
Hasn't been a lot of action in this round, a much slower round.
Stay tight. Stay tight. Hit him in the body again. Follow there when he's low. Follow. Right uppercut inside. Uppercut inside, Mark. Get it up. Mark, up.
To date, Mashamaite's fought most of his career junior middle and middleweight. Super middle's a relatively new adventure for him. Much bigger, physically stronger looking fighter these days than he was when he started out.
He weighs 74.92, so he's quite well in that 76.20 limit, the super middleweight limit.
Good boy, you're around, Mark. Go, Marco, finish.
Bargero trying to steal it at the bell, but I just don't know that he's got the energy to throw the punches. He looks exhausted every time he comes back to the corner.
Sit up. Behind your body right. Breathe slowly. Listen. You must watch him through. Breathe and look in the eye. Don't take your eyes off him. Wait outside too long. Come on. Hey, he's tighter than you. He is, mate. Have a look at him. He's tighter than you. Is he throwing punches? No. Listen. Don't hit him in the thigh. Mark, please listen to me. Inside, throw the uppercut if it's there. Okay, inside, hit into the back of the head with your free breathe. Breathe deep. Listen, Mark.
Well, Mashamaite looks a lot fresher than Bargero as far as I'm concerned, right?
Well, I think he's got to just pace himself now, Nick, because there's no doubt that Bargero's tiring. And if Mashamaite just keeps him outside the jab, he can win this fight.
I tell you what, I think Mashamaite can afford to pick up the pace, but he's got to do it in a clever way. He's got to do it from behind the jab and not get careless, because he's shown that he can be caught by Bargero.
And he's got to keep that left hand, if he doesn't keep the right hand up, keep him up tight against the side of his head, because he tends to drop his right hand and he gets caught with that swinging left hand of Bargero. There it comes again. Bargero pushing there now, that's a bit of dirt. Referee Shabalala picking it up.
I think Mashamaite fell into the trap the last round of fighting at Bargero's pace. I think Mashamaite can pick it up, but as I say, he's got to be careful how he does it.
Well, neither fighter known for their big punches, neither power punches. When you look at their records, there's not a lot of knockouts on their records.
Move around the angles, move your angles. You hit the body, hit the body.
Well, certainly that's been a problem for Mashamaite through his career. At middleweight, he lacked power.
And then he gets caught again with that overhand left, the southpaw left hand. Sorry, that's the right hand that he was caught with there. Oh, good one, good one.
That was a good punch.
Left hand there by Mashamaite.
But he got caught with a counter. He's getting the better of it, though, because Bargero is looking to hold inside here. Mashamaite looking to the referee.
I think he was hurt. He was definitely hurt, Bargero.
Cries of Peter coming out ringside here. They'd like to see Mashamaite pick it up now. They also saw that Bargero was hurt there.
Just got to watch out for that swinging left hand there, the southpaw left hand of Bargero. It's a type of bowler punch, he just bowls it in. A swinging right hand again. He's got to watch out, those come from the outfield, those punches, those rights and lefts.
Yeah, and they come from just about anywhere. Strange angles too, you've got to watch for that.
Mashamaite's got to keep his guard up, keep his right and left up to the side of his jaw, because he doesn't want to get caught again with one of those swinging punches from Bargero.
Bargero off balance there. Mashamaite with a nice little right uppercut inside. That landed.
Into the last 40 seconds out of round 8, and a fairly good round for Mashamaite. Good right hands for Mashamaite. 2-3 right hands coming in there for Mashamaite.
Yes, he's winning the round.
Just got to keep that guard tight. They're not caught with one of those overhand swinging punches from Bargero. Gasping for air is the Australian Bargero in those silver trunks.
That's why I say I think the key for Mashamaite winning this fight is to pick up the pace. Because I don't think Bargero will lose if he does. Good right hand going in. Definitely Mashamaite's round. He's come back well from that knockdown in the 4th.
Slow down. That's it now. It's your battleground, please.
Bit of boxing the whole time. Please, partner. Bit of please boxes, man. Boxing, then you come in and walk your bit. Oh, he's dangerous inside. Yeah. Can't he throw 3-4 punches? Get up. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. You're going to cry tomorrow. Don't waste it. Come on, please.
Some action here from that round. You can see it was a good round for Peter Mashamaite, and just keeping the guard up there, and good left hand coming in for Mashamaite, and southpaw left hand, and digging it in. But he got caught again there, Nick. The same old trick. He's just dropping his guard and gets caught. He's got to keep that guard up tight. As you go into round 9 of the scheduled 12 round of the vacant IBO Intercontinental title at stake here. And it's been an interesting fight.
Yeah, indeed. And I think Bargero's put on a much better show than I think most of us ringside thought he was capable of, based on that David Story first-round knockout he suffered a few years ago at Carnival City.
Well, just looking at his record, Nick, I thought he was going to get knocked over in a few rounds, you know. But he's a journeyman. He's a survivor. And that's what he's doing here tonight.
He's also tough as teak. He really is.
Very much so.
He's a fair dinkum Aussie.
That's right. Well, when you look at his record in recent fights, he hasn't been stopped. I think he's survived, he's gone the distance, he's lost a few, he's won a few. But there goes the shoulder in, a bit of dirt coming in from Bargero. Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, the more Bargero tires, the more untidy this fight will become, I think, as we go into the championship rounds.
Well, I think it's survival mode now for Bargero, and he's just going to try and throw the big ones. Those wild swinging rights and left of his from that southpaw stance. And Mashamaite's just got to keep his head, just box behind the jab, and not get caught with those wild swinging punches.
Push him back, then. Break! Breathe deep, Mark, breathe! Let's go! Move away and breathe! Breathe deep!
Peter Mashamaite in those white trunks from South Africa against the Australian.
A little bit of a nick, I think, under the right eye of Mashamaite.
I saw that early on, Nick, and it doesn't seem to be much blood. It's just a little bit of a, as you say, a nick. And, it's just under the eye, under the right eye.
Probably caused by a head, I think.
They're not causing any problems at this stage of the fight.
There's the jab again from Mashamaite. Well, reaching for Bargero there.
That's what we want to see.
Bargero, a couple of light right hands to the body.
Stay tight, good boy. Body, hit him.
Side to side, forward and left.
Good boy.
Stop! Corner!
Breathe, Mark. Breathe.
I keep on saying stop, Tom in the corner here. Corner.
Well, you know, that's a South African rule, Nick. I don't think it's an international rule that you're allowed to speak in the corner. It's an international rule as far as I know. It's only in South Africa you can't speak in the corner, so the referee's got it wrong.
Well,
I'll tell you what, it's a very vocal Australian corner, that's for sure. Nick Durant looks like he's undergone a personality change this evening because he's very quiet by comparison.
I think the last 10 seconds here of round 9, a slower round, both fighters tiring, but there's no doubt that Bargero is the tired man. More tired than two. And a good finish shot, a little flooding there from South African.
Hey, you're coming back. Can you feel your strength? Can you feel yourself coming back?
Well, I think Mashamaite's stealing the rounds.
I would say so, Nick. You know, he must be ahead. Well, it's up to our judges. We've got Judge Foster, Murray, and Mitchell.
Very deep, son. Clearly, mate. Stay tight. Win this round, mate. I don't bullshit, mate. When you try to do the dance of fucking bullshit, step up on that. Listen to me now. Listen to me now. You jab the body. You keep moving around. We're going to get to the end of this, no problem, in every round. Jab the body, move around, jab the body, then jab, boom, over the top. You'll stop it. Okay? Keep your ankles going. Get on him when he tries to rest. Get on him. Keep your ankles going.
We're going into the, it's a 10th round now. These are the rounds that are going to count. So can Mashamaite pick up the pace against the tiring Bargero? Bargero in those silver trunks and Mashamaite in the white trunks.
Well, I think that's key for him, to just keep the pace happening, and if he can pick up the pace, Mashamaite, he still looks fresh. He looks like he's got plenty of gas left in the tank. Bargero, by comparison, is tired visibly.
Mashamaite's his condition is good, Nick. There's no doubt about that. He's come back well from that knockdown in the 4th round.
I've always thought he was one of our better conditioned South African fighters, Peter Mashamaite.
Bargero holding there, and the corner just saying that he's cheating. Well, I don't think he's cheating. He was definitely holding. The referee's there, you can see what's going on. Look at him holding again now. There's Bargero is getting warned for holding, and quite correctly, Mr. Referee. Well, the cornerman's going to be thrown out of the hall just now if he carries on like this. The referee's complaining to the supervisor. Halfway through round number 10 now, and it's been a slow round, and the better punches been coming from Mashamaite.
I think he's landing the cleaner punches at this stage of the fight, and for me that's giving him the rounds.
And they're fighting here at super middleweight. IBO Intercontinental, a vacant title at stake.
Again, very untidy inside, not too much work being done inside.
Well, I can see the fight supervisor, the IBO fight supervisor, warning the cornerman, the Australian's cornerman, Marc Bargero's cornerman. There's warning again. They're going to lose a point if he carries. That's the 3rd time the referee has to warn Bargero for holding. But that's a sign of tiredness.
Desperation, perhaps.
Possibly, yes.
There's a good jab from Mashamaite again.
You're scoring to the body, hold on.
He's talking about scoring the body, and it's Mashamaite scoring the body there.
Hasn't done enough of that through the course of the fight, for my money, though.
But I think he's done enough to edge this round, as Mashamaite gained the last 2 seconds out of round 10, and Mashamaite's done enough to shade the round.
Coming back. Do you understand he's got nothing, son? My brother, do you understand you're winning the fight? your side, holding, but get an arm free, walking back. Keep hitting. You haven't one time hitting behind the head from it. One time yet. You understand that? Now listen, inside, don't throw.
Must look at big listen. He's looked at the speech. What's the thing? Let's go then. Let's go.
Come on down. Round number 11.
Right, just 2 rounds left. Bergamo, I don't know how he's managed to stay in this fight, because I thought he was going to fade away through sheer exhaustion a couple of rounds ago, but he's managed to stay here, and here he is in the 11th.
Marc Bargero in those silver trunks. He's from Australia, and he's a survivor, Nick. He's been around a long time. He's been a pro for 12 years, 37 years of age. He knows he's never going to win a world title, but he's fought for a few titles around the world. Like he's fought for the Australian title, and he's fought for a lot of the lesser titles. But a true test for any fighter is Bargero.
Yeah, and I'm not sure whether Mashamaite's completely passed this test, as he lands a very good left hand there. I think Bargero is the type of journeyman fighter that Mashamaite, if he was going to go somewhere on the international scene, would take out reasonably quickly.
Well, he should have, Nick, but he hasn't got the power in his punches. This is the thing. You know, he just doesn't set himself up for that left hand. Just watch it. There's never big shots in his left hand.
Or at least do a more comprehensive job of winning than he is at the moment. I've got him winning the fight, but I think he's made heavy weather of it.
You know, he doesn't, as I say, when he lands the left hand, he doesn't stun Bargero. Bargero pushing again with the shoulder there. All the old tricks, all the tricks of the old pro. As we said earlier on, Nick, Mashamaite is he's got to set him up with the jab, get the jab going, bounce his head back, push in the left hand, but he's not doing that. Following Bargero around the ring now is Mashamaite. And that's the battle of the southpaws. You have 2 tired southpaws. You're in the 11th round. Only 1 minute left in this round. And a tired Marc Bargero from Australia.
Yeah, I think whatever power Bargero was carrying early in the fight seems to have gone from those punches now as he's tired.
Good little rights and lefts coming on the inside there from Mashamaite.
Yeah, short, accurate punches from Mashamaite inside.
You can see Bargero leaning on there. The tired fighter holding, leaning on, using all those years of experience.
He's done a fair amount of holding as Bargero.
Well, he's a survivor, Nick, and this is what he's doing. You know, he just wants to get through 12 rounds. Just another payday for Marc Bargero. He's in those silver trunks.
Scored the only knockdown of the fight back in the 4th, but I don't think it's been enough.
I think Peter Mashamaite has picked up since then. He must have lost 2 points in that round, but he's come back and he's caught up. As he got the last few seconds here of round 11.
Right up and out. Listen, son, my brother, this is the last round. He knows, listen to me, he knows he's got to try and knock you out to win. What I want you to do is stay real tight. Don't go with him at all. Listen to me, don't go with him at all, even if you're holding. Listen to me. Hold him when you have to. Hit him to the body, go in and hold him, and work him back. Right to the ropes with one hand working. When you break, go back, hit him to the body again, hold him and work him back. The whole ring, moving away. Do not go with him at any stage, and it's our fight.
Uppercut like he told.
We got him.
Watch us.
Final round.
12th and final round. I don't know whether there's optimism coming out of Bargero's corner, but they reckon that their man is ahead if they feel that Mashamaite is going to come in and try and stop Bargero in this last round, because he feels he's behind on points.
I don't know what fight they've been watching, Nick. They're sitting in the same corner as us, but they'll be watching a different fight. Referee Shabalala just asking Nick Durant to wipe off the Vaseline on the face of, and he just puts it back on. Clever Nick Durant. And into this 12th and final round of this vacant IBO Intercontinental title at stake here. Intercontinental Super Middleweight title.
You'll knock him out, Mark. Move around.
Been quite a grueling fight. It's been a little untidy at times. We had the knockdown in the fourth, but Mashamaite, for my money, has come back well from then and built a points lead.
Nick, he's edged the rounds, and I think he's just done enough in most rounds to take the rounds. And,
good jab again. Terrific jab from Mashamaite.
Well, up on his toes is Mashamaite. That just shows you the youngster, 24 years old, against the old man of the ring, 37 years old Marc Bargero in those silver trunks. And Mashamaite in terrific condition. Come back from that big knockdown in round 4, and his condition has paid dividends. I think that's going to win the fight for Mashamaite.
Well, Bargero forcing Mashamaite back onto the ropes, basically because Mashamaite wasn't punching, and there was an invitation there for Bargero to come forward.
Angles and body, hit him that body. You heard him. Two around. Push him back inside. Stop. Move around, hands up, move around.
Good little shots at all. Oh, terrific left hand there coming in from Mashamaite. One of the best punches he's thrown in the fight.
And Bargero felt that. It really stopped him in his tracks. And there's a good left hand again that gets in. Right hand from Mashamaite. Mashamaite getting on top as we wind this fight down.
At the last minute of this 12th and final round. And it's all Peter Mashamaite now.
Tight,
good left hand there from Mashamaite. But not enough power in those punches. He's taking them well as Bargero. Good at the last few seconds here of this IBO Intercontinental, a vacant IBO Intercontinental title. And I'm sure Peter Mashamaite's done enough to take that title.
Again, Mashamaite getting the better of that exchange. Crowd getting behind him too. Bargero looks exhausted. He will welcome this bell.
Last few seconds out, 10 seconds out of the 12th and final round of this championship contest, IBO Intercontinental title. And good finish out by Peter Mashamaite.
It was a good hard fight too, and I think fight fans in the crowd will enjoy it. The boo's coming in because there's an overreaction, I think, from Bargero and his corner there, as if to suggest to the judges that they've won it. But I think Mashamaite, with arms raised now, has done enough, certainly the last 6 rounds, to take the fight. And it sounds as if the crowd agrees too, Ron.
Well, they've been by Mashamaite, they've been behind him. And Bargero, a little bit of a dirty fighter, using the shoulder, pushing. And I don't think they like the tactics that he's used. He has had to use a bit of dirt at time because that's just experience and survival tactics that he's used. And they didn't like the reactions of his corner. Corner got a little bit out of hand. But I believe that Peter Mashamaite's done enough, and he'll add that IBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight title to his South African Super Middleweight title. And a step up for him. He's not ready for the top fighters in the division. I think you've got to take him slowly. He still makes a lot of mistakes. He's still got a lot to learn. But he's a courageous young fighter. He's Peter Mashamaite.
I think Nick Durant's been trying to get a little more life into Mashamaite's legs. I saw him fighting out of a little more of a crouch, trying to get a bit more spring in his legs. And for me, that's a positive move for Mashamaite, because he had in the past been a bit, shall we say, heavy-footed, leaden-footed.
And he's up on his toes. He looked so good in the last round, up on his toes. As we saw some action here from that 12th and final. That was a knockdown. And that was from a big right hand there from Bargero.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mashamaite did well to come back from that knockdown in the fourth.
It was right on the jaw, Nick, and he put him flat on his back, but he got up and he came back. And I believe he's done enough to take a decision.
So we sit and wait here at Empress Palace for this decision to come in. A lot of you might not know where Empress Palace is. Well, it's out by the airport. Johannesburg's East Rand. Very accessible from the highway. You're just off an exit ramp and straight into Empress Palace. You can't miss it.
And very good facilities, Nick. I'm very impressed, you know. And a nice venue for boxing. I say it's pretty accessible. And we've seen some action here tonight. First fight wouldn't go too long with that WBF cruiserweight title fight. It only went 2 rounds.
3 more title fights to come as well. Up next, the South African featherweight title fight. And then the South African junior heavyweight fight between Earl Marias and Donnie Fenter for the South African junior heavyweight title. That'll be a good one. And then the main event, of course, Cassius Beloy defending both IBF and IBO junior lightweight belts. That's Peter Mashamaite. Look at the little greys under the eye there. That wasn't a factor at all as we wait for our decision now from Pumlani.
Well, after 12 rounds of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, we now go to the judges' scorecards, and we have a unanimous points decision. Garth Murray scores the fight 116-112. Judge Howard Foster scores the fight 117-111. Lula Mamcha scores the fight 116-112. Ladies and gentlemen, all 3 judges score the fight in favor of the winner and the new IBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight Champion, the lover boy, Peter Mashamaite.
Well, spontaneous applause ringside for Peter the lover boy Mashamaite. I think the judges got it spot on there with their decisions, Ron.
I think it was fair, Nick. You know, even with that knockdown, he had to catch up 2 points. And looking at those scores, 117, 111, 116, 112, and another 116, 112, I think they were fair. You know.
Marc Bargero climbing out of the ring, a look of resignation on his face, but I think it was a fair result. He put on a good show, though, did Bargero.
Oh, yes, better than we expected, Nick. I'm quite surprised, you know, that he went the distance.
White boxing's fucking dying. Shit like that. Fucking disgrace.
He's got it wrong. He's got it wrong. They're screaming out from the corner, but they got it wrong.
Right, up next, Malcolm Klassen making the 3rd defense of that South African featherweight title. He'll be with us right after the break.